everybody. I'm Rebecca from Thieving at Our Farm,
And I'm Leah with Southern Biophiliac Urban Farm.
and we are two chicks Coturnix bringing you the scoop
Not the poop.
on Coturnix Quail. So today we are going to do another 2 cents with two chicks, and we're going to talk about sizes of Coturnix quail. So, Leah, what do you think about sizes? What sizes are you breeding on your farm?
I tend to prefer jumbos
Mhm.
just because we do a lot for meat.
Got it. I have to have all of them, all the things. So I actually have all three sizes. I know you breed standards as well.
Yeah,
Um, but I actually keep all three sizes. And a lot of people don't realize that there are actually three sizes of Coturnix quail. So let me pop this up here. So just like in chickens, there are bantams, standard, and jumbo. So why don't we start with bantams?
they're super cute.
They are really cute. So, bantams are fairly rare. I actually, let me back up here a little bit. Bantams are usually raised by people that breed them for like falconers, for like feeders. They're a really good size for people to feed to their birds of prey. And so, usually, the people that sell those birds they don't um, they don't want those lines to get out in the public. They've got something that they've been working with for many, 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 many years, and they don't usually sell them. And because of that, I had to make my own because nobody wanted to share with me. So um, bantams are 5 ounces or smaller. And in order to make a bantam line, I took the smallest, healthiest birds that hatched and selected those and bred them, and then kept selecting for smaller and smaller. And I add healthiest because a lot of times, if you have a bird that hatches small in your hatch, it's a failure to thrive. It's a weak bird. It's not keeping up with the others. So I didn't go that extreme. I just took slightly smaller, smaller than the average size, and I kept breeding for slightly smaller while still healthy. So
And
it's
how long
important.
did that take you?
I'm still working on it. So this little one here is one of my bantams, and I have been breeding them for probably about 3 or 4 years. I have to look at my notes. So it's important to note once again that if you have just a small chick that is not keeping up in size with your other chicks, it is probably not a bantam. These things are super rare and you have to get them from an actual breeder who is breeding them. So if one just pops up and is small, it's probably just, a failure to thrive or, kind of I hate the term runt, but kind of a runty chick. So, Leah, do you want to talk about standards?
Sure. Standards, and people get this confused sometimes thinking that they're going to lay a smaller egg than jumbos, but they actually can lay an egg in comparable size, sometimes even larger. But these
Absolutely.
are your medium size quails. So they're going to be in between the bantam size and the jumbo size. But what's cool about the standards is if you're wanting birds just for eggs, these are usually your go-to because they're not going to eat as much as a jumbo.
Absolutely. They're not going to take up as much cage space either. You could have more of them in a cage than you can the giant jumbo birds. All right. And since jumbos were your favorite, you want to talk about those?
Yeah, so jumbos are quail that are 10 ounces or more at 10 weeks of age. Um, and their egg size can vary. It's not technically always going to be a larger eggs. I know myself and Rebecca, I think we strive to try to get a large egg size with them as well. But that doesn't technically mean their egg size, but it goes by their body weight.
Absolutely. Um, And it's important to note that just with the bantams, where occasionally you can, have a smaller bird hatch out of your, say standard line, and that's not necessarily a bantam. You can also have a larger than average bird hatch from a standard line, and that's not necessarily a jumbo. So you're kind of looking at the entire line being jumbo, not necessarily just a standout bird.
And I believe isn't the threshold about 80% has to hatch jumbo to call it a jumbo line?
Yeah, that would be a good guideline. Absolutely. Okay, so let's take a look at them side by side. I think comparing them this way is a good way to see the size difference. There's definitely a between that little phantom and that
Yeah, and
big
then your
old.
hand disappears in the last photo.
And then this again, you can really tell this way that Jumbo's a chonk.
Yeah. The little
So
bantam is so teeny. He's so cute.
yeah, so cute. Um, yeah, I like I said, I breed all three. And I agree.
So
Okay.
there's definitely not like a perfect size of quail. Each size might fit your needs different than somebody else's. So if you're wanting something for an egg or pets, you might want to go with the bantam, even though they are harder to find. And then your standards, again, if you're just going for egg production, you're not breeding for meat or raising for meat, then that would be your go-to. And then of course your jumbo birds are going to be your meat birds.
Awesome. Okay, I do want to do a little thank you real quick before we close out. So let me pop this up here. Special thanks to Josh Kaler, who did our theme music. You can find him at joshkaler.com, and Ariel Parker, who has done some of our graphic and logo design at Savage Daughter Farm.
I think that wraps it up.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us,
Make sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate it.
and have a great night.